Stop exactly what you are doing. Put down the phone. Step away from the distraction of the day and just listen. I want you to look at your hands. Turn them over. Look at the back of your forearms. Now, close your eyes. Travel back in time. Think back to when you were 30 years old. Remember the density of your body, the firmness of your grip when you shook a hand, the solidity of your step when you walked down the street. You felt like oak. You felt like iron. Now, open your eyes. Look at a photo of yourself from last Christmas. Do you notice it? It is subtle at first. The shoulders look a little narrower. The shirts hang a little looser. The legs, which used to be like tree trunks, now look a little more like sticks. You might look in the mirror and tell yourself, it is just aging, doctor. You might say, it is natural to slow down. I am here to tell you, with all the authority of my medical background, that it is not normal. It is not inevitable. And quite frankly, it is dangerous. What you are witnessing is a silent, biological theft. There is a thief in your house, and it is stealing your body, ounce by ounce, day by day. This thief has a name. In medicine, we call it sarcopenia. The word comes from the Greek, sarx meaning flesh, and penia meaning poverty, poverty of the flesh. Think about that phrase, poverty. When you have sarcopenia, you are biologically bankrupt. This is not about vanity. Sarcopenia is the #1 predictor of disability, loss of independence, and early mortality in adults over 60. When you lose muscle, you don't just lose strength. You lose your metabolic engine. You lose your protection against falls. You lose your glucose disposal unit, which leads to diabetes. But here is the good news. The thief can be stopped. The thief can be caught and thrown out of the house entirely. You don't need expensive drugs. You don't need risky hormone therapy. You need to fix the one specific, critical mistake you are making every single morning. Most of you are losing the battle against sarcopenia before 9 a.m. You are starting your day in a catabolic state, literally eating your own muscle for fuel. In this video, I am going to reveal the single most important breakfast food to reverse sarcopenia. It is a food you likely already have in your fridge, but you are using it completely wrong. I am going to teach you the science of the Leucine Trigger, and I'm going to show you how to turn your breakfast from a muscle-wasting disaster into a muscle-building miracle. My name is Dr. Leo Nascher. I have dedicated my life to the care of the aging body. If you want to stay strong until you are 90, listen to every word I am about to say. To defeat the enemy, you must understand the mechanism of the crime. Why does muscle melt away as we age? When you were 20, you were an anabolic machine. Anabolic simply means building up. Your hormone as testosterone, growth hormone were raging rivers. They were constantly shouting at your body to build tissue. You could skip meals, eat junk, sleep for hours, and your muscles stayed full. But as you cross the threshold of 50, and certainly 60, a phenomenon sets in called anabolic resistance. This is the most important concept you will learn today. I want you to imagine your muscle cells are like a house with a doorbell. Inside that house are the construction workers waiting to repair the furniture. When you eat protein, the protein walks up to the house and rings the doorbell. The muscle opens the door, lets the protein in, and the rebuilding begins. When you are young, that doorbell is sensitive. It is loud. Even a tiny bit of protein, a handful of nuts, a slice of cheese rings the bell and the construction crew gets to work. But as you age, the muscle becomes hard of hearing. The doorbell gets quiet. The wire gets cut. You can eat the same amount of protein you ate at 30, but the muscle doesn't hear the signal. It stays asleep. The door stays locked. And because the muscle isn't getting the signal to rebuild, it naturally degrades. It withers. It essentially dies from neglect. This is anabolic resistance. It means your aging body requires a much louder signal, a much bigger dose of specific nutrients just to maintain the muscle you currently have, let alone build new muscle. You cannot whisper to your muscles anymore. You have to scream. And this brings us to the tragedy of the modern breakfast. I want you to think about what the average senior eats for breakfast. Think about what you ate this morning. Maybe it was oatmeal with brown sugar. Maybe toast with jam and coffee. Maybe cereal with almond milk. Maybe a banana and juice. What do all of these foods have in common? They are 100% carbohydrates. I am not demonizing carbohydrates. They provide energy. But from a muscle preservation perspective, these breakfasts are a disaster. When you wake up in the morning, you have been fasting for 10 hours. Your body is in a state of catabolism. It is breaking down tissue for energy. Your cortisol levels to stress hormone are naturally highest in the morning. Cortisol eats muscle. To stop this process, to flip the switch from breaking down to building up, you need a powerful protein signal. You need to ring that doorbell violently. A bowl of oatmeal has maybe 5 grams of low-quality plant protein. Toast has 3 grams. Coffee has 0. When you eat this way, you are failing to ring the doorbell. You go from sleeping catabolic to eating carbs still catabolic. You might not eat real protein until lunch or dinner. That means your body spends 16 to 18 hours a day in a muscle-wasting state. You are literally starving your lean mass to death. And no, you cannot make up for it at dinner. The body needs pulses of protein throughout the day, and the most critical pulse is the first one. We need a breakfast food that is pumped enough to punch through that anabolic resistance. So what is the secret? Is the answer simply eat more protein? No, it is more specific than that. Not all proteins are created equal. If you eat collagen or wheat protein, you might not get the results you want. Why? Because you are missing the key. The key is leucine. Leucine is an amino acid. It is the trigger. Leucine activates a pathway in your body called mTOR. Think of mTOR as the foreman of the construction site. Until leucine shows up and wakes up the foreman, nobody builds anything. Scientific studies show that for an older adult to trigger muscle protein synthesis, they need to hit a specific threshold of leucine in a single meal, approximately 3 grams. If you eat 1 gram, nothing happens. If you eat 2 grams, nothing happens. But the moment you cross that 3-gram threshold, the machinery fires up. The problem is that most plant proteins are very low in leucine. You would have to eat 5 cups of quinoa to get the same impact as a small piece of animal protein. It is inefficient. We need a breakfast food that is dense in protein, highly digestible, and packed with leucine. The single best food to arrest sarcopenia at breakfast is the egg. But and listen closely, most people eat eggs wrong. 1 egg contains about 6 grams of protein and only 0.6 grams of leucine. If you eat 2 eggs, you get 1.2 grams of leucine. Still not enough. You have not triggered the switch. The doorbell did not ring. You need 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast to hit that leucine threshold. Here is the Dr. Nascher muscle spare bowl. 3 whole eggs plus half a cup of liquid egg whites. 3 whole eggs give you 18 grams of protein. Half a cup of egg whites gives you 13 grams. Total 31 grams of protein. This delivers over 3 grams of leucine. This rings the doorbell loud enough to wake your muscles from their slumber. It takes 5 minutes to cook. It is cheap. It is soft and easy to chew. And it is the single most powerful metabolic intervention you can make. Nah, I know what you are thinking. But doctor, what about my cholesterol? Some of you may fear cholesterol. Let me put your mind at ease. For 95% of the population, dietary cholesterol does not significantly raise blood cholesterol. Your liver produces cholesterol every day. If you eat less, your liver makes more. If you eat more, your liver makes less. It is a feedback loop. The real enemy of your heart is sugar, inflammation, and visceral fat, not eggs. However, if you are a hyperresponder or your doctor strictly forbids yolks, here is the modification. Use 1 whole egg and 1 cup of liquid egg whites. You still hit 30 grams of protein. You still get the leucine, but you keep the fat low. I want you to picture something. Look at your favorite chair, one you sit in to watch TV. Imagine a day where you try to stand up and you can't. Imagine the panic. Imagine needing help to use the bathroom. Imagine the loss of dignity. That is the price of sarcopenia. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine being 85 and lifting your grandchild effortlessly. Imagine carrying your own groceries. Imagine walking strong and stable on icy pavement. That future is built in the kitchen. It is built with 30 grams of protein every morning. Tomorrow morning, do not reach for the cereal box. Crack 3 eggs. Add the whites. Scramble them. As you eat them, visualize the leucine hitting your bloodstream. Visualize the doorbell ringing. Visualize your muscles waking up and rebuilding. You are not just eating breakfast. You are eating your independence. Take back your strength. Start tomorrow. My name is Dr. Leo Nascher. Eat your protein. Stay strong. And I will see you in the next video.